Welcome to the kill-death ratio, where I count every kill, every death, and at the end compare my playthrough with another content creator to see who comes out on top. Today, I'm covering Resident Evil 3. Originally released in 1999 and remade in 2020, Resident Evil 3 was developed alongside Resident Evil 2 as part of Capcom's plan to modernize older games in the franchise. The first half takes place before Resident Evil 2, whereas the second half takes place concurrently with it. Aiming to improve upon the original, Capcom scrapped a lot of content from the original in favor of a more concise narrative, much to its detriment. It's far too short and fails to really hammer home the trauma Jill experienced from the mansion incident. Despite that, the game is still really fun to play, so let's dive in and start killing some zombies. I choose standard difficulty and we open up with scenes of chaos as the outbreak begins in Raccoon City. It segues into clips of Umbrella's bullshit before giving us the title card. Then we see a giant case being loaded into a helicopter with the typical Umbrella evil-ass sounding codename. We cut to Jill in first-person view getting out of bed. Everything is dark as fuck, but one thing I can make out is green herbs, good feeling, and I couldn't agree more. Her water bill is going to be out of control because she left the faucet running in the bathroom. She turns it off, but now her nose is a faucet of blood. And as she looks up, we see her rapidly turning into a zombie when she grabs the gun and... But it was all a dream! Wait, she did actually keep her water running though. She checks her face out to ensure no signs of zombieism, but she's not a zombie. She's just traumatized after watching her colleagues brutally die at the fault of Umbrella and their experiments. Continuing their use of face models, Capcom utilized Sasha Zodova, who really seemed to embrace playing Jill Valentine and the Resident Evil community, and I think that's pretty fucking cool. Jill finally shuts off the water and we take control of her as the date and time flash on the screen. Brad Vickers, the helicopter pilot who got us away from the Spencer mansion, calls to tell Jill she needs to leave, but then the wall explodes and a gigantic figure punts Jill across the room. It fails to contain her as she dodges its punches and runs into the hallway. Apparently her neighbor leaves their door unlocked as Jill barges in and blocks the door. What happens when they try to come home? Downstairs, it busts through the floor, blocking our path, and as Jill tries to run, it grabs her leg with a tentacle phalange. Jill slices it off her, making her escape towards the streets below. Just kidding, it busts through the fucking wall and grabs her goddamn face. We continue into this flaming hallway and hear its catchphrase for the first time. Before Jill escapes, and it's buried under concrete. Out in the alley, Brad finds Jill revealing it's on the hunt for STARS members. We see everything has gone tits up in this town as the T-virus is spreading. Brad does his best to bar the door, but a zombie busts through and bites his weenus. We exchange Brad for a knife and run outside to also find a gun. After dodging some zombies, eventually we head to a chopper waiting to pick us up, but our big scary astronomer blows it up and walks at us menacingly. Jill has had enough.
It's my turn, bitch!
And sends them flying off the roof and crashing into the ground below. Jill crawls out just in time for the car to explode and incinerate the body bags or whatever the hell Nemesis was wearing, revealing his melted wax-looking ass. As he approaches, some dude off screen shoots a rocket at it, but his wrist tentacle catches that shit with ease and says fuck the police, blowing up a random cop car. Our new friend has another rocket in his pocket and blasts Nemesis right in his chest, buying just enough time for Carlos, modeled by Benson Mokhtar, to introduce himself to Jill and help her get away. They take refuge in the subway station, but Jill learns Carlos is Umbrella and freaks out a little bit, but he's a good dude and isn't privy to the buttfuckery Umbrella is up to. We wind up inside the train car where we're introduced to Mihail, the captain of Carlos's unit. They've been trying to evacuate survivors and need help in getting the train up and running. Jill's been wanting to get the fuck out of Raccoon City going on 2 months now, so it takes no convincing getting her help. As we take control again, the first step is restoring the power. Outside, I get my first kill of the game using my knife. I go down an alleyway and add 2 more zombies before entering the street where zombies push their way in, but this time we have explosive barrels. I earn a triple kill and proceed down the stairs where I take out another 4 zombies to increase my kill count. I enter Homer Simpson's wet dream to get a brief respite before killing 4 more of the undead using an explosive barrel. I'm surprised by a zombie cop that I finish off by skewering his wiener, then clear out the rest of the streets by taking down 4 zombies using various methods. I run up some stairs and as soon as I enter this room, I'm jumped by a zombie. I shoot open his melon and proceed outside onto the roof where I hear some chewing going on, triggering those with misophonia. I shoot the barrel and gain 2 more kills. Finally, I find myself in the substation where I kill this shambling zombie. I grab a fire hose and run back to the fire alley to put out the flames and gain access to the next area, but there's still a lot of shit I didn't pick up, so I backtrack a little ways and add this one to the count. I get my hands on a shotgun and right away get to use it for the 25th kill of the game. I continue exploring and happen upon this fun little Mega Man reference, but this crawler hates Mega Man, so I mega kill him. I wrap it all up over here by adding another 4 zombies to the count before making my way further downtown. After a save room visit, I encounter an injured Umbrella soldier, but Jill has zero time to analyze the wound before he's shot by his silver-haired comrade. Outside, some dogs rush me and get electrocuted, then shot dead. Further along, I take down the 3 zombies in this room before entering another save room and exiting out the back door, which reeks. It smells like adventure as I become the master of unlocking and spend some time backtracking to go grab previously unobtainable items. Eventually I run back to Stink Alley when Jill has parasites forced down her throat. Luckily the note nearby tells us a useful story about Grandma encouraging this dude to eat his greens because bugs hate them apparently. So I eat an herb and thank Grandma for her weird specific knowledge and continue inside where it looks like I entered the Upside Down. The goal is to find 4 switches to restore power so we can get the train moving, but there's a lot of those disgusting mutated fleas around aiming to make Jill the throat go. They don't take much to kill, so over the course of about 8 minutes I run around finding each switch required to activate the substation and killing just about every one of the Drain Deimos along the way. With the final switch flip, the area is overrun with them. I shoot a few, but ignore the rest and leave this place 23 kills richer and increase my total count to 58. Now that the power is restored, I can activate the main power switch and incinerate that huge nest before I head back the way I came, but unfortunately Nemesis is back.
Are you shitting me?
Unlike Mr. X in the previous game, Nemesis doesn't play by Michael Myers rules. He can run, jump, and throw things like right here when he fucking murks this zombie trying to block my path. His aim needs a little work, however, as I easily avoid his punch and run past him. Eventually I reach the control room after avoiding Nemesis and nearly getting punched to death. After plotting out the train's route, I exit when the dead zombie on the ground stands up with a giant ass parasite on his head.
What the fuck?
What the fuck indeed. I blast it with my shotgun and add it to the count. Upon exiting the donut shop, we spot Nemesis upgrading basic zombies with the parasite, so I take the side exit and make a beeline back to the subway station. We learn that dickhead's name is Nikolai, and he continues the trend of being an asshole, but there's little time to gossip as Nemesis busts in and Jill splits off to lead him away from the rest. We run away and eventually crawl into a grate and drop down into the sewers. Just a little ways in, this fugly fool makes the mistake of getting in my way. Then another 2 block my path and die with ease. In the save room, I take in the calming music as I read up on the enemies I just killed, known as Hunter Gammas. By this point, we're already familiar with hunters, having dealt with them in the Spencer Mansion, but these ones weren't deemed combat ready, and I tend to agree because they got fucked up. As I explore the sewers to find my way out, I encounter 3 more of them that meet their end at the hands of my newly discovered grenade launcher. I establish communication with Carlos again and climb up the ladder when Nemesis is so kind as to help Jill up. Then he's like, "Hey, look at my flamethrower," and Jill's like, "Nah," and shuts the door on him. We're not safe yet though, because Nemesis is burning this bitch to the ground, and the only way out is up. This sets the stage for our first fight against Nemesis. After spending about 4 minutes avoiding his attacks and not avoiding his attacks, Nemesis falls, but with the building ablaze, Jill has no choice but to take the fast way down. We climb up and over a fire truck into a familiar spot right outside of the police station. There's a handful of zombies here I take down before heading into the gun shop mere hours before Leon and Ada do the same. Jill gets a much warmer welcome though.
Take care, Jill.
We take the key and enter the gate on the right, where hours later, Claire makes one of her many escapes from Mr. X. I kill another zombie, and down the alley, another alpha parasite is killed, bringing my total to 69. Inside the house awaits another parasite, along with a newspaper with a little bit of foreshadowing. I exit the house, and what do you know, Nemesis is back trying to cite another HOA violation. This time, he has a rocket launcher, but he aims like a stormtrooper. Or is it that Jill's just superhuman? I don't know, man, but I'ma keep running. Back by the donut shop, Nemesis knocks down the statue head which rolls my way. I dodge it and continue forward until I link up with Carlos, whose plan to kill Nemesis was to use a claymore? Oh shit, he made the floor disappear. Good shit, Carlos. That'll confuse him. We finally get some temporary relief and enter the train, but Jill has some reservations as Carlos is being deployed on a new mission and she's going to miss that face. He provides some encouragement.
I'm not gonna die on you, leave you in a cold, cruel, Carlosless world.
But that douchebag Nikolai is bringing down the vibe. Then Nemesis brings it down even more by blowing up the car filled with civilians. We attempt to escape, but we get impeded.
It's not after you.
I fucking hate this dude. Mihail stays behind to distract Nemesis before blowing himself up.
Get off my train, shitbird!
This derails the train and we cut to black as we take control of Carlos in another very familiar location in search of Dr. Bard, who has a vaccine. As we approach the police station, we hear some shouting and see Marvin Brana facing the tough decision to put down Brad Vickers.
Sorry!
Wait, what the fuck? That sorry buys Brad just enough time to bite Marvin, which we see him succumb to in Resident Evil 2. We eliminate Brad for the first kill. Carlos and Tyrell enter the police station and begin exploring. On one hand, I think it's kinda cool we get to run through here before the events of Resident Evil 2, but it would have been more impactful to see this through the eyes of Jill, having to kill her friend and colleague Brad and return to her old workplace. We saw this location a lot playing Resident Evil 2, so we're going to speedrun this section showcasing the kills I get as Carlos. In the Western Hall, we do get to find out what happened to these two fellas. Carlos enters the station packing an assault rifle and a handgun with plenty of ammo around, so I go Captain Insano mode on the enemies in here. There's plenty of zombies littered throughout the station along with some liquors to mix things up a bit. With nearly everything in this building now dead and 26 kills richer, we reach the STARS room, but Dr. Bard isn't here. We find out he's cooped up in a hospital and surrounded, but that's not the only thing to worry about.
Umbrella's gone crazy. They're killing all the researchers.
We hang out for a moment while Tyrell does what now?
I'm gonna check the computer, see if I can trace the doc's location.
He's in the hospital, Tyrell. He just said that. Carlos gets a call from Jill about Nemesis destroying the train. Carlos heads out and we cut to Jill covered in grime and a few more scrapes and bruises. I exit the save room and immediately greet 6 zombies with my boomstick, bringing my kill total to over 100. Outside, I pick up a travel brochure, and if you're quiet enough, you can hear the bitching and moaning of many Resident Evil veterans about the missing clock tower level. As Jill climbs the stairs, an explosion rings out, and we watch Nemesis hilariously batting at the flames consuming him before falling into the water.
Bitch can't even swim.
He can't swim, but he can fly! Jill outruns the Nemedog right into the stage of our second fight. I'm immediately pounded into the ground and wait, stop that, you motorboating son of a bitch! For this fight, it's all about dodging his attacks and dealing enough damage for him to get the zoomies and start running around in circles. Using my grenade launcher, I knock him back down to my level where I can shoot his red rocket to deal massive damage. After about 6 minutes, Jill caps this fight off with a classic line. Stop it! As she continually pummels it with grenade rounds. As Jill walks off, Nemesis attacks again, injecting Jill with the T-virus. 12 hours later. Carlos finds Jill and carries her to the hospital where he intends to find Dr. Bard and the vaccine. With Jill incapacitated, we take over as Carlos in easily the creepiest section of the game. Our first batch of zombies are just a couple rooms over from where Jill lies. I kill 6 in total here and move forward to kill another 5 zombies using my assault rifle and my handgun. On the roof, this doctor assuredly can be sued for malpractice, but I'll settle for some stabbing action. In the nurse's station, I take out a few more zombs before watching a familiar scene play out. Hunters are back, baby, and they're looking scary as ever with that predator mouth. I'm reminded of how deadly they can be as I get one hit KO'd for my first death of the game. I reload the game and toss a grenade, killing it in one hit. Doesn't feel so good, does it, you ugly motherfucker? Deeper inside the hospital, I watch as 2 hunters await me in a different room, one of them just absolutely going to town on a zombie, creating a bloody Jackson Pollock. I take out the 2 zombies chilling in the next room over, then corner myself like an idiot for my second death of the game. I kill the 2 zombies again, then lure the hunter into the room and unload on it using my assault rifle. Then I make quick work of the second hunter and backtrack to find some zombies have broken through the glass, so I clear out the room again and add another hunter with an explosive surprise. Using a voice recording of Dr. Bard, I unlock the way forward.
Who do you think you're talking to? I'm goddamn Nathaniel Bard. I'm the best biologist you'll ever meet, you bedpan-changing waste of a nursing degree.
But do we really want to save this guy? Oh, never mind then. We don't need him because luckily there's 1 dose of vaccine left we can use on Jill. But another hunter crashes through the skylight, so I roll my grenade at its feet and keep going. Carlos injects Jill with the vaccine when later Tyrell busts in, turning the TV on, where we find out that Raccoon City will be wiped out with a missile in just 1 day. Unfortunately for us, a bunch of zombies are swarming the hospital, blocking our way out. Carlos heads out to take out the zombie horde himself. In this section, the zombies are much easier to take down, which allows us to rack up the kills and increase our total kill count significantly. The goal is to fend off the undead for a period of time until Tyrell can hack into the security system to stop the zombies from flooding in. There's plenty of ammo around and some generators that can be shot to stun nearby enemies. This turns what could have been an intense sequence into a brisk, but still fun, walk in the park. Eventually we start to see more than just zombies here as those goddamn alpha parasites enter the fray as well as the hunters. After about 6 minutes, there's just far too many zombies to contend with, so I plant some C4 and blow up the pillar. It falls and blocks the zombies from entering through the front door. Carlos comes back for a quick wellness check to see Jill starting to recover and promptly leaves to find a way to save the city. Finally, Jill wakes up from her tea slumber to the worst news imaginable, then meets Tyrell in the lobby to find out Carlos has left the building. She goes after him and proceeds further into the hospital where we meet another another hunter that I kill effortlessly using my grenade launcher. I take down 3 zombies and shortly after blast another hunter on my way out of the hospital and into an underground warehouse where we meet a new enemy called the Palehead and immediately murder it. Bitch ass Nikolai is up to no good again, impeding Jill's path to Carlos, so now we need to play his game and find some fuses in here to unlock the way forward. I kill 2 dogs and a zombie before going upstairs where a couple zombies and a Palehead die to get my kill total over 180. As I continue through the warehouse maze, I down this hunter and then blow up 6 zombies chilling in the container. I turn around and a gamma hunter emerges only to die swiftly before I take out the 3 parasites blocking my exit. I take the lift up and get joined by Tyrell with some good news, I hope.
They'll call off the strike if, and this is one big ass if, we can deliver the vaccine to them before they launch.
Shit dude, we gotta go then. Hey, never mind, I'll meet you there, Tyrell. Jill escapes Nemedog and winds up in the Nest Labs with more zombies to kill. We need to find vaccine samples, but it's not that easy since they need to be created first. Luckily, Dr. B left a walkthrough on how to do that. Along the way, I kill some more zombies and paleheads and finally utilize my magnum on these fools to increase my total to over 200 right before adding this loner zombie to the count. In the following section, we see hunters and deformed tyrants and test tubes we know we're just gonna have to fight later. I take the lift up only to be blocked by a combination of zombies, parasites, and paleheads. I take them all down and increase my count by 6. With the last sample in hand, 3 hunters predictably burst through their test tube prisons, but I expected this and use a combo of my grenade launcher and magnum to take them down with little effort. Back at the virus synthesizer, I take the sample when Nemesis grabs Jill by her throat. Stop stabbing so close to your face, Jill, you're going to give me an anxiety attack. After a brief chase sequence, Nemesis clumsily knocks Jill down, making her drop the vaccine and allowing fucking Nikolai to pick it up and forcing Jill into the pit below to fight Nemesis for the 3rd time. This fight is basically a repeat of the previous one, but this time we have Carlos to assist. There's also zombies that will stumble into the arena as an extra wrinkle. I avoid most of them because Nemesis will just obliterate them when he starts throwing his thick ass body around, but I managed to kill one of them. After a few minutes, we down Nemesis again, and as he tries to come at Jill, Carlos smacks him in slow-mo. Acid is released into the pit, melting Nemesis for good, right? Before we find out for sure, Jill goes after Nikolai to retrieve the vaccine, but then the fucking wall explodes and Nemesis is back in a much larger, grosser form. Carlos goes after Nikolai while Jill stays to fight.
Just so you know, this is the last fucking time.
Jill uses a giant motherfucking railgun to shoot Nemesis, but it needs lots of power to use. I stun Nemesis by shooting the pustules on its body and use the time granted to push in the power cells to activate the ferromagnetic infantry use next generation railgun. Finger for short. After a second blast, Nemesis is downed and Jill crams it into its mouth for the final shot and final kill of the game.
Next time, take the fucking hit!
We're not quite done yet because we need the vaccine and Raccoon City is set to explode. Outside, we see Carlos knocked out when Nikolai attacks. He shoots the vaccine like the major asshole he is, which makes Carlos Hulk out, giving Jill the chance to shoot him. Nikolai refuses to tell us who he's working for by trying to leverage his way out of it, but Jill has had enough of his BS and gets on the helicopter. They lift off and fly out of Raccoon City just in time as the missile flies by and they get a spectacular view of the city being destroyed and we roll into the final numbers. I finished the game with 120 kills as Jill and 95 as Carlos, giving me a total of 215. This game also excludes the kill counter, but it does include a death counter, showing my final number at 2. I had a pretty good kill distribution across my weapons, with Carlos's assault rifle bringing in the most. That brings my total kill-death ratio to 107.5. I'm putting myself up against Jacksepticeye, who completed the game in 5 episodes shortly after its release. Due to edits, it's likely I missed some kills, but from what I could count, he just barely edged me out with a total of 218. He had far more deaths at 9 per the end screen recap. That gives Sean a kill death ratio of 24.2. He finished the game in just under 5 hours, and with 218 kills, he has a kill on average every 1.37 minutes and a death every 33 minutes. I finished the game 8 minutes faster, giving me a kill on average every 1.35 minutes and a death every 145 minutes. Released in 2020, Resident Evil 3 received critical acclaim but had mixed reception amongst fans, citing the amount of cut content and the handicapping of the Nemesis encounters as major drawbacks. I honestly had a lot of fun with this one, but I agree with the consensus that this game is far too short and that Nemesis could have received much better treatment in order to make him truly feel like Jill's Nemesis throughout the experience. I appreciate you watching and I hope to see you next time. Please consider subscribing and comment down below what games you want to see in the future. I'm King Deschain, signing off for now.